title.
Of course. My name is Isabel Studer, and I'm the director of the Global Institute for Sustainability and Initiative of Tecnológico in Monterrey and Arizona State University.
Now, today, as you've been here all day, what did you gain from this new approach that's being taken by the Global Initiative Index from Notre Dame? Can you talk a little bit about that?
Well, I think that some of the issues that were discussed were critical in terms of, what the private sector needs to be looking at. Adaptation has been an issue that has not been addressed really by either the scientific community, the global negotiators, or even the private sector. Whereas what we see is that as time goes by and the governments around the world are not able to come up with a global treaty that can actually tackle climate change, then, the populations, especially of the developing world and emerging economies, have to face the impacts of climate change. Many of these countries are very vulnerable. All countries are vulnerable, but especially countries in the developing world and in the emerging economies. So I think the discussions that took place this morning and that showed some of the challenges in terms of food security, for instance, or protection of strategic infrastructure are really issues very critical, not only for some countries, but also, as I mentioned, for the private sector. And I think there is a recognition that an index like the one that was created here provides very important information for the private sector to start factoring in the issue of adaptation in their business models.
While you're at it, this Notre Dame initiative is the idea of many different scientists and economists. Do you believe that even developing nations will be able to adapt to something like this? Is it an advantage for them as they grow into being developed? Can you talk a little bit about that? How it would help them?
Well, I think that in general, the economics of climate change are going to be very important. I mean, it is not only how you are affected, but what do you do? What kind of policies are implemented to face the impacts of climate change in terms of the floodings, in terms of the droughts? We know this phenomenon are becoming more and more severe, and this is affecting, marginalized communities, poor communities, and so what you need is to have the investments and the right policies so that the private sector really looks at these issues as an opportunity to develop new businesses or markets. For instance, there are some initiatives taken by some of the micro banks or banks that are providing microfinancing in some countries like Haiti, that they have seen an opportunity to expand their market by offering microinsurance in a way that they can protect the smallest of the entrepreneurs in Haiti who are getting credits to start up their businesses. And once they get flooding or there is drought or there is some disruption coming from climate change and even natural disasters, they may be unable to continue their companies or their activities. And so if they have an insurance, then they will be protected. So this is a new take of a business that comes out of precisely, these issues that have to do with the alteration of climate. So like that, there are many opportunities for people to start thinking, how you can turn this crisis, this environmental crisis, into an opportunity for creating jobs or just protecting the jobs that already exist. So I think that all countries can gain from this, but what is critical is that everybody has the same information. And the fact that Notre Dame is doing something so exceptional by generating all this information and having this tool available to any country around the world, then they are facilitating the decision making in these countries to put in place the policies that are needed to promote investment and to work with the private sector to come up with solutions.
Very good. Good. Now, last question. I want to tell you, how about countries who are still in a very infancy and not able to materialize or utilize this source? How would they be able to sort of integrate themselves into this?
Well, yes, I think that, part of the challenge for this group is precisely to promote the tool that they have developed. I understand that it's online and anybody can access this information, but I think that the challenge is going to be for Notre Dame precisely, to bring in other people from other countries. I appreciate very much invitation, for somebody like me coming from Mexico, but I think that the challenge now for this group is to go all around the world and, show some of the information that is ready and available for anyone to look at it. Another interesting project that I understand that they have developed precisely in Mexico is to start promoting this tool with small, medium-sized enterprises. And I think that that's one of the areas, where I see big potential for developing countries because, as you know, the predominant number of small, medium-sized enterprises in these countries are the ones who promote growth and generate the jobs. And so I think it's a very interesting twist that they are exploring now.